If you like this video and you want to see videos like this early, before they go up on YouTube, head over to LBRY. It's an awesome decentralized alternative to YouTube, and I absolutely love it. Hey everybody, it's your friend and your guy and your favorite fence-riding moderate liberal, Gardiner. That definitely isn't me. So if you're not aware about this, on Patreon, once a month, I like to have a request thread where my patrons get to request video ideas. And Kevlin had a really great question for me. He asked me what I thought about snaps. So let's talk about snaps, shall we? Because I haven't alienated enough people this month. For the longest time, I was an Ubuntu user. I really liked Ubuntu. I thought it was great. And I wanted snaps to be a thing. I remember when snaps were a mere twinkle in Mark Shuttleworth's eye. And, I heard all the ideas about snaps, and I was like, a package manager for user space applications? One that's separate from the distribution's, core package manager? What a fantastic idea! This is a long time ago when snaps were just, this nascent idea that people were just talking about. I've talked about this before, but one of my biggest problems with Ubuntu is the age of the packages in the repository, to the point where I think at one point in one Ubuntu install, I had maybe 10, 15, possibly 20 PPAs installed at a single time. An unreasonable amount of PPAs to have installed. But you know what? I did, because I needed them all. Ubuntu's packages were so antiquated, especially if you were sticking with an LTS, that you just didn't have any other option. If you needed, or if you even just wanted to have, up-to-date packages, well, tough noogies, bro. You're gonna go find a random PPA on the internet, which might have other packages in it that might conflict with your native system packages, which might then screw up the whole system during an upgrade and prevent it from booting the next time. That's happened to me many, many times on Ubuntu. Not a good situation to be in. So one day my dad had a Linux laptop, and he had managed to install Wine, which is fair enough. I mean, Wine is cool, Wine is good, but he used it to install a Chinese dating instant messaging app. Somehow, I don't know how, he ended up getting Chinese malware, Windows malware, on Wine, on Linux. It was on Ubuntu. And I remember thinking to myself, snaps would be great right now. If I could just lock down his account and prevent him from installing, system packages like Wine, so he could just do snap packages, that would be great. It'd make my life a whole lot simpler. But again, this was way back in the day. This was early in the life cycle, where they were just in the planning stages of snap packages, honestly. When snap packages first released, I was really excited to give them a try, and I was wholly underwhelmed with the result. They were fundamentally broken, with application menus not displaying properly, not being styled by the desktop environment, dialogues just being broken and not being clickable at some points, and interacting with the file system was a complete joke. So suffice it to say, in the early days of snaps being publicly available, it was a bad time. But I've used snaps here and there. I have Ubuntu running on my home server, and I've used snaps on there. I find them to be serviceable, but I'm not a big fan. I tried downloading Cool RetroTerm as a snap, and boy howdy did it take frickin' ages for it to boot Cool RetroTerm. Are you kidding me? Why is that a thing? And the other thing that really annoys the crap out of me is all the loop devices that get created by each snap that you have installed. I mean, just open GNOME disks and when you have a bunch of snaps installed, and it's just a horrific mess. But many of the annoyances that I had with snaps back when they first launched have been cleared up, more or less. But what we're actually talking about here today is not the annoying parts of snap. Kevlin in the Patreon thread asked if I think Canonical are trying to build a walled garden when it comes to snaps. And truthfully, if I'm being completely honest, I think they might be. Here's my evidence. I know I'm going to piss some people off by saying this, but I think Canonical is a pillar of the open source Linux world. They produce some really awesome stuff. I love a lot of Canonical's technology. However, they're not being particularly open with snaps. Snaps don't seem to work very well on non-Ubuntu distributions. That's the derivatives and the others. While you can install snapd on like Manjaro, for instance, most other distributions either have a terrible implementation of snapd or have just given up trying to even get snap to work on their distribution. Or they've gone with a competing option. And there's a litany of legitimate reasons why these other distributions just aren't running snap. First and foremost, the server-side software for snaps is closed source. There is no legitimate way to roll your own third-party snap distribution server. None. No, you can't do it. And you also can't change the software origin of snapd. It comes from Canonical, and that's it. And if you're a developer and you want to help work on Snap, you have to sign some intellectual property stuff. It's encumbered with intellectual property problems. That doesn't sound particularly open sourcey to me. And let's not forget that Ubuntu Software Center has basically abandoned AppStream, which is like a common language that different distributions use to share metadata between packages. If you ever open up your graphical package manager and you see a text description and screenshots and comments and whatever else, that's AppStream, unless you're on Ubuntu. That means that developers of the app have to create special entries for AppStream and then for Ubuntu Software Center. Many developers have complained that making snap packages is a time-consuming process and also a resource-intensive one, requiring a lot more maintenance to keep things updated. Speaking of updates, you also can't disable snap package updates that are automatically applied to your packages, which makes operating snap packages in a live environment basically impossible. Because what happens if the software developer pushes an update and then all of a sudden your snap package decides to update itself and goes down for a couple seconds or a couple minutes even? That's just unacceptable in a working environment. And it's to the point now where even Ubuntu derivatives are opting out of shipping snaps in favor of flat packs. I mean, there has to be no greater insult, no vote of no confidence in a technology greater than when the downstream choose a competing technology than what the upstream is shipping. That's incredible to me. But I think it might also be by design. I mean, what we're seeing is Canonical frustrating efforts of developers to include snapd in projects, and their efforts are yielding results. It's even to the point now where Linux Mint is actively blocking people from downloading and installing snapd through apt on Linux Mint. I mean, it's pretty incredible. And Canonical is moving ever closer to all applications being shipped as snaps in Ubuntu. You have to wonder what the end game is. I mean, even Chromium is being shipped as a snap now. Now, I'm not the kind of person who's gonna jump on the hate Canonical bandwagon. I mean, they've made a lot of really cool tech, and they've done a lot of really respectable things for the Linux community, but they've also done some things that I profoundly disagree with. There's a long and storied history on this channel of me calling out Canonical for things that I think that they're doing wrong. But it seems like everything that Canonical has done that I disagree with has been done in the service of one ultimate goal. And that goal is selling Canonical to a bigger tech firm. Whether it's closing bug number 1 on Ubuntu's bug tracker or collecting installation and usage metrics, shifting away from Ubuntu Desktop as the focus of the company, or even partnering with Microsoft to work on Windows Subsystem for Linux. They're trying to position themselves as an attractive buy for the likes of Microsoft or Amazon or any of the big tech players that don't have their own Linux distribution. And I mean, who can blame them, really? So yeah, I think Canonical are trying to build somewhat of a walled garden for several reasons, so that they can sell the brand, so they can sell the tech, and so that they can sell their audience invested in snaps. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you think that I'm being one of those awful Canonical hate mongers? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys think about this. Truthfully, I feel like I've got a pretty fair take on this, but I'll leave that up to you to decide. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this show, you can support the show over on Patreon. I want to say thank you to Glenn Steen and the 113 other amazing people over there who make this show what it is today. If you believe in what I do, you can support the show, just like these other guys over here. But that's going to do it for now. You can pick up some merch if you're so inclined. This shirt's actually not available anymore because some company said that I was violating their trademark. But anyway, whatever you do, whether you hit that like button or share this video with your friends, don't forget to subscribe to see more from me, Gardiner. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a blessed day.